Have you ever felt like you're drowning in the noise of your own thoughts? Like no matter how hard you try, peace always seems to slip through your fingers just out of reach. You've been told that peace comes from fixing your life, healing your past, or becoming the best version of yourself. But what if everything you've been told is wrong? What if the truth is far simpler and yet far more elusive than you ever imagined? Imagine this. True peace is not something you need to chase. It's not found in the future, in success, or in endless self-improvement. It doesn't come from making more money or having a perfect life. Real peace, the kind that settles deep into your bones, is born from letting go. Letting go of the struggle, the chase, the constant pressure to be more. The secret to peace has always been here within you, waiting for you to stop, to listen, and to finally come home to yourself. But are you ready to let go of everything you thought you knew? To stop striving for perfection and to just be? If this journey speaks to your heart, if you're ready to explore the profound truths of Buddhist wisdom and transform your inner world, then join us. Subscribe to Buddhism in every moment and be part of a community that's waking up to true peace. Your support helps us create more powerful content that guides us all to live with awareness and inner calm. Hit that subscribe button now, and let's begin this transformative journey together. Part 1. Introduction: The Search for Peace. Have you ever paused in the midst of the chaos and asked yourself, where is the peace I've been searching for? We live in a world that tells us peace is something we earn, something we reach for at the end of a long journey, something hidden behind success, personal achievement, or even perfect relationships. But what if we've been looking in the wrong places all along? You've likely heard the advice: fix your life, heal your past, become the best version of yourself. You've been told that if you can just check off all the boxes, getting ahead at work, mending broken relationships, improving your health, you'll finally arrive at peace. But have you ever found yourself asking, why do I still feel unsettled? Why do quiet moments feel so loud? Why, when I long for rest, does my mind race uncontrollably? Why, despite all my striving, does peace remain just beyond my grasp? This is the paradox that most people find themselves caught in. We search for peace in the future, thinking that once we reach a certain goal, once we fix the broken pieces of our lives, peace will finally arrive. But here's the shocking truth: peace isn't something we earn. It's not something that waits for us at the end of our to-do lists or our self-improvement plans. Peace doesn't come from doing more. It doesn't come from adding more accomplishments, more praise, or more possessions. Peace comes from letting go, not from having more, but from needing less. Not from chasing after something elusive, but from stopping, from stillness, from seeing clearly without the layers of expectations and fears clouding our vision. Real peace is the kind that sinks into your bones. It's a peace that has always been there, patiently waiting for you to realize it. For over 500 years, Buddhist wisdom has quietly held the path to this peace. It's not a religion that demands strict rules, nor a checklist of things to do. It's a gentle invitation to come home to yourself, to stop chasing a version of life that only leaves you tired and unsatisfied. It asks you to stop believing every thought, to stop carrying the weight of things that were never yours, to stop trying to be someone you were never meant to be. Tonight, as you listen to these lessons, something will shift within you. Your breath will slow, the noise in your head will soften, and a deep calm, one you may have forgotten existed, will begin to rise within you. You will remember that you are not broken. You never were. You were simply too busy trying to be someone else, trying to fix everything, trying to achieve an image that doesn't truly exist. This isn't just a way to fall asleep. This is a way to wake up. To wake up to the peace that's always been inside you, patiently waiting for you to stop, to listen, and to be. Part 2. The Myth of Perfection. Letting go of the need to be better. We live in a world obsessed with perfection. Everywhere you look, there's a new standard to meet, a new ideal to chase. From the social media feeds that relentlessly showcase the best version of everyone's life to the countless self-help books that promise to turn you into the perfect human being, it's easy to believe that peace is only for those who have mastered life. We've been told that in order to find true happiness, We must constantly improve ourselves, become better, smarter, more successful, more beautiful. But what if this relentless pursuit of perfection is not the key to peace, but rather the very thing that keeps it out of reach? What if the problem isn't that we're not enough, but that we've been conditioned to believe we need to be more than we already are? Buddhist wisdom challenges this very idea. It teaches us that perfection is a myth. It's an illusion that we chase relentlessly, only to find that we're always just one step behind it. The truth is, you'll never be perfect, and that's okay. This isn't about resigning to mediocrity. It's about understanding that perfection is not what makes us whole. Perfection is a trap that binds us to an image of ourselves that is constantly changing, constantly evolving, and always incomplete. We hold on to these images. I am strong, I am successful, I am in control, because they give us a sense of safety. They tell us who we are, what we should be, how we should act. But what if these stories we tell ourselves aren't true? What if the person you believe yourself to be is just a collection of habits, memories, and labels that you've held onto for too long? What if who you are right now, without all the labels and the need to prove anything, is enough? Buddhism teaches us the profound truth of anatta, or the teaching of non-self. This doesn't mean that we are nothing or that we don't exist. It simply means that the self, the me we hold so tightly onto, is not as solid as we think. It is ever-changing, evolving, and in many ways it is simply a story we tell ourselves to make sense of the world. You are not the sum of your successes, your failures, or your mistakes. You are not your job, your relationships, or your appearance. All of these things are impermanent. They rise and fall like the waves in the ocean. They come and go, but they do not define who you are. The peace that comes from letting go of the need for perfection is liberating. It allows you to live fully in the present moment, without the weight of trying to be something you're not. You don't need to be better to be enough. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone, least of all yourself. You are enough just as you are, without having to be more than that. Letting go of perfection doesn't mean we stop growing. It means that we can grow without the pressure of trying to live up to an unattainable standard. It means that we can be kind to ourselves when we fall short, knowing that falling short is part of being human. It means we can embrace who we are right now, without needing to be someone else. And when we stop chasing after the perfect version of ourselves, we begin to notice something incredible. We start to accept life as it is, and with that acceptance comes peace. As we reflect on the liberating truth that we don't need to be perfect to be worthy, we start to see that letting go of the need for control is also essential to finding inner peace. In the next part, we will explore the power of acceptance, how embracing life as it is without trying to fix everything leads to a profound sense of calm and contentment. Let's move forward into this practice of acceptance and learn how peace comes from seeing the present moment clearly without judgment or resistance. Part 3. The Power of Acceptance. Finding peace in what is. There's a powerful, almost magical quality in accepting life as it is. In a world that pushes us to always strive for something better, something more, we often forget the art of simply being. We've been conditioned to think that peace is a distant goal, something we'll only achieve when everything falls into place. But what if peace is already here, hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to stop striving and simply embrace what is? At the core of Buddhist wisdom is the teaching of radical acceptance. This means that true peace is not about changing the world around us, nor is it about fixing every problem that arises. It's about accepting the present moment in all its messy, imperfect glory. It's about looking at life exactly as it is and saying, "This is enough. I am enough." Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It's not about giving up or turning a blind eye to the challenges we face. Rather, it's about acknowledging reality without judgment or resistance. It's about understanding that life unfolds exactly as it needs to, whether or not we understand it in the moment. And it's through this acceptance, this gentle letting go of the need to control everything, that we begin to experience peace. You may wonder, how can we truly accept what is, especially when life feels overwhelming, unfair, or difficult. The answer lies in our ability to shift our perspective. Rather than viewing difficulties as obstacles, we can begin to see them as teachers, as opportunities for growth. Every challenge, every discomfort, is simply a part of life's unfolding, and it is through these moments that we learn who we really are. When we practice acceptance, we stop fighting with life. We stop trying to force everything into the box of our expectations. Instead, we begin to flow with the current of existence, trusting that wherever it takes us is exactly where we need to be. This is not a passive surrender. It is an active participation in life's rhythm. The peace that comes from acceptance is quiet, profound, and steady. It doesn't demand that we become someone else. It doesn't require that we achieve some grand vision of success. It simply asks us to show up for life as it is, in all its beautiful messiness. In doing so, we find the stillness that resides within us. But what happens when we stop resisting life? When we embrace things as they are, without the constant pressure to improve or change, we find that peace begins to arise naturally. We stop searching for it because we realize it has always been here, within us, just waiting for us to notice. This is where the path to true freedom begins, the moment we stop running from reality and begin accepting it fully. When we let go of the need to control, to fix, to constantly change, we free ourselves from the tyranny of striving. And in that freedom, peace emerges, effortless, unshakable, and real. As we accept life as it is, we begin to understand that peace also comes from understanding impermanence, the ever-changing nature of all things. In the next part, we'll explore the wisdom of impermanence and how embracing this truth helps us let go of attachment, bringing us closer to a deeper, more enduring peace. Let's step into this truth together and see how it can transform our approach to life and our inner world. Part 4. The Art of Letting Go, Releasing Attachments. In a world that constantly urges us to accumulate more possessions, more achievements, more praise, it's no surprise that we become attached to things. We attach ourselves to the idea of who we think we should be, to the outcomes we strive to achieve, and to the material possessions that signify success. We hold on tightly, believing that these things define us, give us worth, and give us peace. But what if letting go of these attachments is the key to unlocking the true peace we seek? Buddhist teachings tell us that attachment is one of the root causes of suffering. The more we cling to things, whether they are physical possessions, identities, or desires, the more we suffer. Why? Because everything in life is impermanent. The people we love, the jobs we hold, the places we live, all of them are constantly changing. When we hold on too tightly, we create an illusion of security, a false sense that we can control our lives by holding on to things that are fleeting. Letting go isn't about rejecting or abandoning what matters to us. It's not about discarding the things that bring us joy or fulfillment. Rather, it's about releasing the attachment to the outcome. It's about loosening our grip on the belief that our happiness is tied to external circumstances. In Buddhism, this practice is known as non-attachment, and it doesn't mean we stop caring. It means that we stop identifying ourselves with what we possess, with what we do, or with what we achieve. When we let go of these attachments, we are left with the pure experience of life, unburdened by the constant need for validation. Let's consider the way we interact with our emotions. Often, we hold on to old hurts, regrets, and fears because we believe they are part of our identity. We tell ourselves, "I am this person who was wronged," or "I am the one who failed." These thoughts become attachments to our past, and they shape our future. But what if we let go of these stories? What if we allowed ourselves to release the attachment to our past mistakes, to the identities we've created around those mistakes? What if we recognized that the person we were yesterday does not have to define the person we are today? When we let go of attachment to the past, we allow ourselves to be fully present in the now. We free ourselves from the emotional weight that we carry around, and we open up to the possibility of transformation. This isn't about forgetting or erasing our history. It's about accepting that our past doesn't have to dictate our future. We are not prisoners of our past experiences. We can change, grow, and evolve, but only if we let go of the idea that who we were is who we always have to be. And it's not just about releasing our attachment to our past. It's also about releasing our attachment to our expectations of the future. So often, we create idealized versions of the future, of the life we think we should have, of the success we think we deserve, of the happiness we believe is waiting just around the corner. But these expectations can also become attachments that prevent us from experiencing peace in the present moment. When we constantly chase after a version of the future that doesn't exist, we miss out on the beauty and the peace that is right in front of us. Buddhism teaches us that true peace comes from living without attachment to what is not here. It's about being fully present without longing for something different, without needing to control how life unfolds. When we stop attaching our happiness to the future, we start to see that peace isn't a distant goal. It's a present reality. It's the space between thoughts, the pause between breaths, the stillness that arises when we simply let go and allow life to unfold without our interference. This doesn't mean that we become passive or indifferent. Letting go of attachment is not about giving up on life or disengaging from it. It's about participating in life fully, without the weight of expectations or the need for control. It's about allowing ourselves to experience life as it is, without judgment, without comparison, and without clinging to any particular outcome. Letting go is a practice. It's something we must do again and again, each time we find ourselves holding on to something that no longer serves us. It's a practice of releasing the need to be perfect, the need to control, the need to always be right, the need to constantly be doing more. When we let go, we create space in our lives. Space for peace, for joy, for freedom. Space to be exactly who we are in this moment without needing to be anything else. As we let go of attachments, whether they are to our past, our expectations, or our desires, we begin to embrace the flow of life with ease. But how do we truly experience this flow, this freedom? The next part of our journey explores the wisdom of impermanence and how understanding the ever-changing nature of life can bring us to a deeper, more lasting peace. Let's dive into the truth that nothing is permanent and learn how embracing this reality can help us let go of fear and resistance, bringing us closer to the peace we've been seeking all along. Part 5. The Wisdom of Emptiness, Understanding that Nothing is Permanent. In the midst of our busy lives, it's easy to forget one of the most profound truths that Buddhists have known for centuries. Everything is impermanent. The relationships we cherish, the material possessions we've worked so hard to acquire, the emotions that swirl through us, they are all transient. Nothing lasts forever, and this truth can either be terrifying or liberating, depending on how we choose to see it. Buddhism calls this truth anicca, the law of impermanence. The idea that everything in life is in constant flux, changing moment to moment. Nothing, whether joy or pain, success or failure, remains the same forever, and that includes you. At first glance, this concept of impermanence might seem unsettling. If everything we care about is constantly changing, then what is the point of striving for anything at all? Why bother holding on to relationships, dreams, or ambitions if we know they will eventually change or fade? The answer, surprisingly, is found in embracing this very truth. In understanding that nothing is permanent, we can finally let go of the need to control outcomes, to hold on to things that are not meant to stay. We stop resisting the flow of life, and we start to move with it, rather than against it. When we hold on to things too tightly, whether it's a memory of the past, a fear of the future, or an attachment to a particular identity, we create suffering. We create suffering because we are fighting against the natural order of life. We're trying to freeze moments in time to make things stay the same, when in reality, life is meant to change. It's meant to unfold. This doesn't mean we stop loving or caring about people, dreams, or experiences. It doesn't mean we stop working toward goals or creating meaningful connections. Rather, it means that we approach all of these things with the understanding that nothing is permanent. We enjoy them fully while they last, but we don't cling to them in such a way that we lose ourselves when they inevitably change. By accepting impermanence, we release the grip of fear, the fear that we'll lose what we love, the fear that life won't turn out the way we imagined. We can stop chasing after perfection because we realize that perfection, like everything else, is fleeting. We can stop judging ourselves and others based on a past that no longer exists or a future that is uncertain. When we let go of this attachment to permanence, we can finally experience the true freedom of living in the present moment. We stop waiting for life to become something else, something better, something more permanent. And instead, we allow ourselves to experience the beauty of what is right here, right now. This freedom comes from understanding that change is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed. Change is the essence of life itself, and when we stop resisting it, we start to live with more ease. We stop trying to control everything and begin to trust in the natural flow of existence. One of the greatest lessons of Buddhism is that nothing is permanent, and that's perfectly okay. Life is about embracing this impermanence with open arms. It's about living fully in the moment, letting go of expectations, and allowing life to unfold as it will. When we embrace impermanence, we stop grasping at the past, fearing the future, and start living with peace in the present. The beauty of this understanding is that it allows us to let go of the need to control our happiness. We don't need to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect situation, or the perfect life. Instead, we realize that peace is available to us now, right here in this ever-changing moment. Peace is found not in perfection, but in the acceptance of imperfection, in the knowing that life will always be different tomorrow, but that's not a reason to resist. As we learn to accept the impermanence of life, we also begin to see that nothing, no emotion, no situation, no moment is permanent. And when we embrace this truth, we discover a deeper sense of peace and freedom. In the next part of our journey, we will explore the power of compassion and how it helps us find peace not only within ourselves, but in our relationships with others. Let's move into this practice of compassion and see how offering kindness to ourselves and others can open the door to a lasting inner peace. Part 6. Cultivating compassion, peace through kindness. In a world that constantly urges us to compete, to prove ourselves, and to be better than the next person, one of the most powerful antidotes to stress, fear, and anxiety is often overlooked: compassion. Compassion is the ability to feel the pain of others and offer a hand of kindness, but more than that, it's the ability to offer that same kindness to ourselves. Buddhism teaches us that compassion isn't just a passive feeling, it's an active force, one that can transform our hearts, our minds, and ultimately our experience of life. Compassion is not just about helping others in times of need. It's also about holding ourselves with tenderness, understanding, and grace in moments of pain and vulnerability. Imagine for a moment that you're going through a difficult time, whether it's a personal setback, a challenging relationship, or a loss that's shaking you to your core. Now, imagine that in this moment, instead of judging yourself for feeling hurt or weak, you show up with kindness. You don't berate yourself for not being strong or for not having it all together. Instead, you offer yourself the same gentle, compassionate understanding that you would offer to a loved one who is struggling. You allow yourself to be human. This is what compassion does. It allows us to be fully human. It invites us to drop the armor we wear to protect ourselves from pain, and instead, to embrace life with softness, openness, and acceptance. It tells us that we don't have to be perfect to deserve love or peace. We don't have to hide our flaws or mistakes, because compassion sees us as we are, with all our beautiful imperfections. But compassion isn't just about softening towards ourselves. It's about extending that same understanding and care to others. Imagine living in a world where everyone made the effort to understand the struggles of those around them, to see beyond the surface and recognize the suffering that lies beneath. When we practice compassion, we begin to see the humanity in others, even in the moments when they hurt us, disappoint us, or challenge us. Compassion helps us rise above judgment and resentment, allowing us to approach others with empathy and kindness, even when it feels difficult. This is where the beauty of compassion lies. It's not just an emotion or a thought, it's a practice. Compassion is something we cultivate, just as a gardener cultivates a garden. The more we practice it, the more it grows within us, and the more we begin to see the world through a compassionate lens. We stop reacting out of anger, fear, or frustration, and instead we respond with understanding, with patience, and with love. What does it look like to cultivate compassion in our daily lives? It can start with something as simple as offering a kind word to someone who's having a bad day, or giving yourself a moment of self-care when you're feeling drained. It can be as small as pausing to listen to someone without interrupting, or offering a comforting gesture to someone in need. These little acts of kindness, when practiced consistently, begin to shift the energy around us, creating a ripple effect that spreads far beyond what we can see. But perhaps the most powerful act of compassion we can practice is forgiveness. To forgive is to release the burden of anger, resentment, and pain that we carry from past wounds. It is not about excusing harmful behavior, but about choosing to free ourselves from the chains of suffering. Forgiveness isn't just for the person who hurt us, it's for us, so that we can move forward with peace in our hearts. The more we cultivate compassion, the more we realize that peace doesn't come from changing the world around us. Peace comes from changing the way we relate to ourselves and others. It comes from seeing the world through the eyes of kindness, understanding, and love. It comes from realizing that we are all connected by our shared human experience, and that to hurt another is to hurt ourselves, and to heal another is to heal ourselves. As we embrace compassion, we begin to experience the profound truth that peace comes from within. It arises not from external circumstances, but from how we choose to show up in the world, with kindness, understanding, and love. In the next part of our journey, we will dive into the practice of meditation, one of the most powerful tools for cultivating inner peace, compassion, and presence. Let's explore how meditation can help us quiet the mind, open the heart, and connect more deeply with the peace that resides within. Part 7. Finding Stillness in a Busy World, the Practice of Meditation. In the midst of our fast-paced modern lives, we often find ourselves overwhelmed by the constant barrage of thoughts, distractions, and demands that come our way. We are constantly moving, constantly doing, constantly striving to meet deadlines, to satisfy others, to prove our worth. But amidst this whirlwind of activity, there is a profound truth that we often overlook. Peace, clarity, and wisdom do not come from external accomplishments. They come from within, from the quiet stillness that lies beneath the noise of daily life. Meditation is the practice that invites us to reconnect with this stillness. It is a practice that goes against the grain of our busyness, gently urging us to pause, to breathe, and to be present in the moment. Meditation is not about escaping the world or avoiding our responsibilities. It is about learning how to be present with our own minds, with our thoughts, and with the world around us without judgment or attachment. In Buddhist practice, meditation is viewed as the path to cultivating mindfulness, clarity, and peace. It allows us to see ourselves more clearly, to become aware of the patterns of thought, emotion, and behavior that shape our lives. By simply sitting in stillness and observing, we begin to understand that our thoughts are not who we are. They are just fleeting phenomena, like clouds passing through the sky. When we realize this, we can begin to detach from the constant chatter of the mind and return to a state of pure awareness. One of the most profound lessons meditation offers is that we do not need to fix or change our thoughts in order to find peace. We do not need to push them away, nor do we need to follow them down the endless spiral of worry, fear, or desire. Instead, we learn to simply observe them, to let them come and go without attaching meaning to them. By doing so, we create space in our minds and hearts, a space where peace can arise naturally. In the beginning, meditation may feel challenging. Our minds may feel cluttered, restless, or agitated. This is completely normal. The mind is like a wild animal that has been running free for too long, and when we sit in stillness, it's natural for it to resist. But with time and practice, we begin to notice the subtle shift, the moments of clarity that arise, the brief glimpses of peace, and the sense of groundedness that comes with simply being present. The key to meditation is not perfection. It is not about achieving a state of calm or quieting the mind completely. It is about presence. It is about showing up for yourself in the moment, without judgment, without expectation. The practice is in the return, the gentle act of coming back to the present moment each time the mind wanders. This act of returning again and again is what strengthens the muscle of mindfulness and helps us develop a deeper sense of inner peace. One of the most accessible forms of meditation is mindfulness meditation, which focuses on bringing awareness to the breath. When we breathe mindfully, we are reminded that we are alive, that we are present, and that we are enough. The breath becomes our anchor, our touchstone, reminding us to return to the present moment whenever we get lost in thought. As we focus on the simple act of breathing, we learn to let go of the past, to release the future, and to just be. Another powerful meditation practice is loving-kindness meditation, also known as metta, which cultivates compassion and love for ourselves and others. In this practice, we silently repeat phrases such as, "May I be happy," "May I be healthy," "May I be safe." Then, we extend these wishes to others, our loved ones, strangers, and even those with whom we may have conflicts. This practice opens the heart and fosters a deep sense of connection with others, as well as with our own well-being. Over time, meditation becomes less of an activity and more of a way of life. We start to carry the peace and clarity we cultivate on the cushion into the rest of our day. We learn to respond to life's challenges with awareness, patience, and compassion, rather than reacting impulsively or from a place of stress. The stillness we cultivate during meditation begins to infuse every aspect of our lives, helping us navigate the world with greater ease and grace. Meditation is not just a tool for relaxation. It is a transformative practice that helps us uncover the true nature of our minds. It helps us see through the illusions and distractions that cloud our perception and reveals the peace, wisdom, and clarity that are always available to us. By practicing meditation regularly, we develop the ability to live more fully, more mindfully, and with greater compassion for ourselves and others. As we embrace meditation and begin to experience the stillness and clarity it offers, we begin to see that peace comes from within. But even as we cultivate this inner peace, we may encounter moments of resistance or fear. How do we respond to these feelings without being overwhelmed by them? In the next part, we will explore the wisdom of trusting the flow of life, how surrendering to the natural course of things can bring us even closer to peace. Let's dive into the transformative practice of letting go of our need to control and discover how trust and surrender can bring us to deeper freedom and contentment. Part 8. Embracing the flow of life, trusting the process. In a world that constantly demands results, success, and control, it can be incredibly difficult to simply let go and trust that things will unfold as they should. We're taught from an early age that the only way to succeed is through hard work, determination, and sheer willpower. We're told that we must push, strive, and constantly try to shape the future to our desires. But what if the key to peace isn't found in all this striving, but in letting go of the need to control every aspect of our lives? In Buddhist wisdom, there is a profound teaching about the importance of trusting the natural flow of life. This teaching emphasizes the idea that life is like a river. It moves, it changes, it flows with its own rhythm. And rather than fighting against the current or trying to control it, we can find peace by surrendering to it, by allowing ourselves to be carried by its flow. For most of us, the idea of letting go of control is terrifying. It feels like giving up, like abandoning our ability to shape our destiny. We fear that if we stop pushing forward, we will be left behind, that we will lose our direction. But the truth is, it is often the tight grip we have on life that creates anxiety, stress, and exhaustion. When we let go of the need to control every detail, we free ourselves from the constant pressure of needing to do it all and to get it right. Trusting the flow of life doesn't mean that we become passive or inactive. It doesn't mean that we stop taking responsibility for our actions or decisions. Rather, it's about understanding that life has its own rhythm, and sometimes the best thing we can do is to allow ourselves to move with it. When we stop trying to force life into our own narrow vision of how it should be, we begin to open ourselves up to unexpected possibilities, to things that we could never have planned or predicted. One of the greatest teachings of Buddhism is about right effort, the understanding that effort doesn't have to mean struggle. In fact, right effort is about finding balance, applying energy to what truly matters, while also learning to rest in the spaces between actions. It's about recognizing when we are forcing things that aren't meant to be and when we should allow space for life to unfold naturally. This balance brings a sense of ease, a feeling of trust that we don't have to do everything alone or control every outcome. Life, as we know it, is a constantly evolving process. People change, situations change. Even our own thoughts and emotions shift with time. When we understand that change is inevitable, we stop clinging to the past or worrying about the future. We realize that everything is in a constant state of becoming, and our job isn't to hold everything together, but to simply ride the wave of life's changes with grace and acceptance. But trust is not always easy, especially in times of uncertainty or adversity. When we face challenges, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by fear, doubt, or frustration. We want answers, we want solutions, we want things to be fixed now. However, when we try to force solutions too quickly, we often create more tension and stress. Trusting the process means allowing space for things to unfold in their own time, even when the path isn't immediately clear. It means letting go of the need for immediate gratification and being okay with not knowing what comes next. Buddhist meditation practices, such as mindfulness and loving kindness, are excellent tools for developing this trust. By meditating, we practice letting go of our grip on the future and the past. We learn to come back to the present moment where life is happening right now. And in the present, we find the space to simply be, to experience life without the need for constant control. In addition to mindfulness, another powerful practice is surrendering to the present moment. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting life as it is, in its raw, unfiltered state. It means embracing whatever comes your way, knowing that even the challenging moments are part of your growth. It's about trusting that every experience, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity for learning, for growth, and for deeper understanding. This trust is not blind faith. It is rooted in awareness, the awareness that life is constantly changing, and that every moment offers a chance for new beginnings. When we trust the process, we no longer feel burdened by the pressure to get it right. We begin to understand that life is not a test to be passed, but a journey to be experienced fully and completely. As we begin to trust the natural flow of life, we realize that true peace is found not in fighting against the current, but in letting go and allowing life to take its course. But what happens when we encounter resistance, fear, or doubt? How can we respond to these emotions without being swept away by them? In the next part, we will explore the wisdom of living without comparison and how freeing ourselves from the need to measure our worth against others leads to a deeper sense of peace. Let's dive into the practice of non-comparison and see how it can help us embrace our unique path without judgment or competition. Part 9. Living with Peace, a New Way of Being. As we stand at the end of this journey, we may find ourselves asking, what does it truly mean to live with peace? Is it a destination we reach after years of struggle and striving, or is it a way of being, something we embody in every moment of our lives. The truth, as we've learned through these teachings, is that peace isn't a goal to achieve. It's a way of being, a way of seeing, a way of living. Living with peace means embracing life as it is, not as we wish it to be. It means accepting ourselves with all our imperfections without the constant need for validation or comparison. It means finding contentment in the present moment without the pressure of constantly chasing after what we don't have. In Buddhism, this way of living is known as right living, a life lived with mindfulness, compassion, and the understanding that peace begins from within. For so long, we've been taught that to find peace, we must change the world around us, whether through achievements, possessions, or relationships. But peace is not something external. It's not something we can force or manufacture. Peace is something we become, something we cultivate from the inside out. Living with peace means letting go of the constant need to prove ourselves. It means stepping away from the comparison game and recognizing that we are enough, just as we are. It means not measuring our worth against others' success, beauty, or accomplishments, but understanding that our value is inherent and unique. When we stop comparing ourselves to others, we free ourselves from the pressure to conform to an image that isn't ours. We begin to see ourselves clearly, with compassion and without judgment. One of the most powerful practices for living with peace is cultivating gratitude. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's missing to what's already here. It helps us see the abundance in our lives, even when things aren't perfect. When we focus on gratitude, we begin to realize that everything we need for peace is already within us. We begin to recognize that peace doesn't come from the outside. It's found in the way we view the world, in the way we choose to respond to life's challenges, in the way we choose to live with acceptance and love. Another crucial practice for living with peace is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not just about letting go of grudges or resentments toward others. It's about forgiving ourselves. It's about releasing the pain we carry from past mistakes, from the times we've hurt others or failed to live up to our own expectations. When we forgive ourselves, we stop holding on to the weight of our past and allow ourselves to move forward, free from the burden of guilt and shame. Forgiveness is an act of liberation, not just for others but for ourselves as well. Living with peace also means embracing impermanence. We have learned that life is ever-changing, and rather than resisting change, we can flow with it. When we accept that nothing lasts forever, neither the good times nor the bad, we stop clinging to fleeting moments and start to appreciate them for what they are. We savor the sweetness of life, knowing that every experience is a gift, even if it's not permanent. To live with peace is to live with awareness. It's to be present with what is, not lost in what was or what might be. It's about being fully alive in the here and now, appreciating the beauty in every moment and letting go of the need to control, judge, or fix everything. It's about listening more deeply, feeling more fully, and embracing life as it unfolds. As we embrace this new way of being, we realize that peace is not something we find in the future, it's something we create in the present. It's a practice, a way of life that begins in our hearts and ripples out into every aspect of our being. We become peace in the way we breathe, the way we interact with others, the way we carry ourselves through the world. Now that we understand how to live with peace, we realize that the next step is sharing that peace with others. True peace is not an isolated experience. It is something we radiate out into the world. In the next part, we will explore how living with peace affects our relationships and how we can contribute to the collective peace of our communities. Let's discover the power of living harmoniously with others and how our inner peace can become a beacon of light for those around us. Part 10. Reflection and Lessons Learned. Throughout this journey, we've explored the profound wisdom that life offers when we choose to stop fighting against the current, let go of our attachments, and embrace the present moment. From the earliest lessons on the search for peace to the final realization that peace isn't something to attain, but something to embody, we've been gently reminded that the key to true peace lies not in the external world, but within ourselves. The teachings of Buddhism have guided us to discover that inner peace is not about achieving a perfect life. It's not about having a spotless record or meeting impossible expectations. Instead, true peace is found in embracing the impermanence of life, in letting go of the pressure to control outcomes, and in accepting ourselves as we are. Through mindfulness and meditation, we have learned that peace begins with awareness, being present with ourselves, accepting life's flow, and trusting in the process, rather than forcing things to fit our desired narrative. We've learned that our attachments to past failures, future anxieties, and the need for approval only add layers of suffering to our lives. By releasing these attachments, we make room for deeper understanding, compassion, and freedom. In a world that is constantly telling us to do more and be more, we are reminded that we already have everything we need to be at peace. Our worth is not measured by our accomplishments or by how much we have, but by our ability to be present, to live with kindness, and to accept ourselves fully. Another powerful lesson we explored is the practice of compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. In a culture that encourages constant self-improvement and achievement, we often forget that we deserve love and kindness, even in our moments of struggle or imperfection. True peace comes when we are able to offer ourselves the same love and understanding that we offer others. And by extending compassion to those around us, we contribute to a more harmonious world, one interaction at a time. As we've seen, meditation and mindfulness are not just tools for relaxation. They are pathways to a deeper understanding of who we are and how we relate to the world. Through these practices, we develop the ability to observe our thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. We begin to see the transient nature of our feelings, our desires, and our fears, and we realize that we are not defined by them. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to live without the constant need to react, to control, or to prove ourselves. The ultimate takeaway from this journey is that peace is not something that can be found outside of ourselves. It's a practice, a mindset, and a way of being. It requires us to stop seeking peace in external achievements and instead find it in the quiet spaces of our hearts. It asks us to trust the process of life, to let go of the need for control, and to live with compassion and awareness. And it encourages us to embrace impermanence, knowing that everything, both good and bad, is fleeting, and that peace arises when we stop clinging to what is not meant to last. Now you may be asking, how can I apply these lessons in my daily life? The answer lies in small, consistent actions. Start by practicing mindfulness throughout your day. Take a few moments to breathe, to center yourself, and to notice what's happening in the present. When you feel yourself becoming attached to a thought, a worry, or a fear, gently remind yourself that it is impermanent and let it pass. Show yourself compassion when you make mistakes and offer that same kindness to others. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be and that life is unfolding as it should, even when it doesn't look the way you imagined. And finally, remember that peace isn't something to be achieved. It's something to be lived, moment by moment. By incorporating these practices into your life, you'll begin to see that peace is not a distant goal. It's a living, breathing experience that can be found in every moment. You don't need to wait for the perfect circumstances to feel peace. It's already within you, waiting to be recognized. All you have to do is stop, breathe, and allow yourself to be present with what is. We would love to hear your thoughts and reflections on this journey. How do you personally apply these lessons to your life? Share your opinions in the comments so we can learn and grow together as a community. And don't forget to subscribe to Buddhism in every moment to support our channel and help us continue bringing you more inspiring content. Your support gives us the motivation to keep creating meaningful and transformative videos for you.